It's about that time right here on KAZ Radio, Cleveland's online inspiration station, with none other than one of my favorite shows every Sunday right here on KZ. None other than What's Going On with Sir John and Lady D. How are you guys doing today?
Fair in the Midland, doing all right.
Fair to Midland.
Fair to Midland.
John and that Fair to Midland.
I'm telling you, does it ever change? Do you go a little further up the road, or is it always in the middle?
It's always in the middle.
Always in the middle.
Fair to Midland. All right.
Balance.
Balance. Okay. Nothing like balance. I love it.
Well,
yes.
today, I have planned a special show for you.
Right.
I planned a show just for my two favorite people on Sundays between 3 and 4. And today's show is about none other than what's going on in the White House.
Oh, you did.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, there's my favorite girl. Look at her. Isn't she just lovely?
Yeah.
So, John, this is...
Well, you have to call her honorable, too?
She's most honorable. The White House blames Obama for failing to stop Russian collusion. John, you got any comments about that?
Nonsense.
It's nonsense. Why do you say it? Have you even heard the whole story?
Yeah. It's nonsense.
It's nonsense. Explain.
Well, let's
Well,
talk
they
about
explain,
the whole story.
if you talk about what the whole story, is talking about is that, of course, the Obama administration or the branches of Homeland Security, National Security, CIA, FBI, they found out that the collusion, or they found that they were investigating, they found out the Russians were meddling.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It does take a process to get concrete proof, And so to say that the Obama administration didn't do anything, they did do something. They started the process. They got all the arms of our security and intelligence to work on to find out and get the proof. Unfortunately, it does take time because you're talking to people of power and people who are national, figures. Mm-hmm. And when you come to charge them, you gotta have something that really lock them into it. So can't put the horse before the carriage.
Can't rush the process because once
Right.
you get started, you got to keep it going. Otherwise, don't do it.
But didn't you know that Obama knew about the Russians affecting the election, and he did nothing about it?
He did do something about
What
it.
did he
That's
do,
the
John?
point. He put our intelligence and security agencies on there to find it and get the concrete proof to investigate it. That all started with him, and they did let people know that the Russians were trying to hack into our voting registries and our what's that down there over there, the Board of Elections. They were hacking into different states' Board of Elections. They did warn those states that had gotten penetrated. Things on the internet happen very fast, so when you find out and you come and you're chasing the ball. But those states were informed. They were notified. Again, it's the process of getting the proof. What he also didn't want to do as President Obama is to frighten Americans that, our process of democracy was manipulated.
Okay.
And it's to keep that ideal for the rest of the world that we, even though we were hacked, even though our security were breached, it was to keep the idea of America being above, and that persona. Because that's a form of security as well, a form of what they call detriment to the invader or whatever, is to keep that persona that whatever you're doing, it's not really affecting. When in reality, it is.
Well, our next topic, I'm just going through news topics right now.
Okay.
Our next topic is this. The Senate leaders try to appease members as support for health care bill. We know that the health care bill is now in the Senate.
Yeah.
And they pretty much can decide if it's going to work or if it's not going to work.
Well, they came up with their own. or 13 members did.
Well, they came up with it pretty much, what I understand, it was another form of Obamacare.
It is.
It's just with the Senate making a few.
And because you got to remember, when the Affordable Care Act came out, Obama made some concessions to the Republicans with Bonner, and most of those concessions were concessions that Mitchell wanted in. Mitch McConnell, who is the majority leader in the Senate.
Right.
So a lot of the Affordable Care Act, the compromise, a lot of it's his stuff. It's not so much as Obama, a lot of it, and it's the stuff that wasn't working, which he purposely wanted in there to make it a political football through the rest of Obama's term. So all Mitch did was fix the things that he purposely put in there to break.
Now, do you feel that Obamacare is a good medical plan for the United States?
No. In its original form, it was, but with the compromise, it wasn't. But it somehow it is working, and I think what people don't understand, the whole poobah about why your deductibles, like people like me and you who work, we have our medical, why the deductibles got so high, because it was another Mitch McConnell thing that he put in there, is that there had to be a way for the insurance companies, health insurance companies, to make a profit, because they're going to be losing money when the Affordable Care Act fully gets into effect. So that's why you had the deductibles will raise, like on people who get their from employees and things like that.
Right.
But after 2018, that's supposed to slide down.
So it's mine.
So they gives them a chance in that period when it was made to up to 2017 to make their huge profits.
Go down.
Your deductible goes
My
down.
deductible will go down.
Right. Sort of like for two people, sort of a deductible for $5,000, it will go down to $2,000.
Okay. Well, I would like to see that.
And things of that nature. And then if, like, for instance, the combines that's another Mitch McConnell thing about giving the insurance companies all together in the combines and all of that stuff. That was in his idea. The original idea of the Medicare, it would just been Medicare. And if you couldn't get it through your job, then Medicare, you can, shop around, and
Right.
Medicare will be that
The balance,
government, right.
The balance between all of it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually it's going to come down to a one-payee system, whether people want it or not.
I mean, why can't we just put everyone on that doesn't have insurance on like Medicare or Medicaid? Why can't they do that, I wonder?
Well, that's what I mean. Eventually it's going to come down to that, a one-payee system.
Right.
And of course that would eliminate the medical insurance company industry.
That would do what? Eliminate it?
Well, it will give them a competitor that they really won't be able to beat.
Well,
unless if they become competitive. So that means they can't split the country up like Aetna gets, like they do as they were doing before. Aetna, before there was like Aetna had the northeastern eastern part of the United States. What's the other one? The big one had the South.
Blue Cross Blue Shield is.
That's Aetna.
That's Aetna.
I can't think of the name of the other one, but the biggest one in the nation, they had mostly the South, and the other one had like the West, California. They sort of split up California. Again, they split it into 8 districts where they wouldn't compete with each other.
Okay.
And they won't be able to do that. So that brings their stock down.
So therefore they're going to just merge.
Well, they'll have to compete.
Okay.
And so
that's going to be interesting.
Which will bring medical costs down, actually.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it'll bring the prescription costs down too, because the cost of some of this medicine is ridiculous.
That's because the pharmaceutical companies, they do discounts around the world, and they put the brunt of their discount, we pay for it in America.
Oh, well.
Here's my third topic. I think you guys will like this one. Trump just ended a long tradition of celebrating Ramadan in the White House. He said, you know what? No more is this Muslim stuff being celebrated in the White House. And what do you think about that?
Well, for me personally, since he also forgot about the Jewish celebration, I don't know.
Okay, so it's fair. So it's fair. It's pretty much everyone.
Balancing out.
Yeah.
Well, it's balancing out, and I mean, I don't think he
Okay.
cares about those things.
Right, he doesn't. And
But in Christmas, he really don't care.
But are those things important?
They are.
Yeah.
Because when you're doing with a pluralistic society like ours, they are important. And it's important to show to those citizens that you do have that you're their president as well.
Yeah. You have to be fair across the board.
Hey, back up a little closer to you.
Okay.
Sweet.
Regardless if it's your belief or your truth, that's
Right.
what makes America great. You know.
The melting pot.
Yes. So, he has to embrace that.
Yeah. I just don't think he thinks if he didn't think it was important.
Well, guess what's coming up next on today at 8:00? The BET Awards.
Oh yeah, my daughter said she couldn't go hiking or go they wanted to go to the drive-in. Her boyfriend wants to take her to the drive-in. She says, I gotta tell him no, BET Awards is coming on
The
tonight.
BET Awards are coming on, and everybody wants to watch the BET Awards. Now,
What's that?
exactly.
What is this grill, this
What
gold
is this?
grill stuff? I don't get it.
Why do we have to look like that, John?
Well,
Aurelia?
To
to
I'm
me,
not
each to
into
his
it.
own. I mean, if that's your fashion, your style.
But that's one
That's
fashion that
expressing
they
you?
can get rid of.
Why?
I mean, why would you do that to your teeth?
They're not doing that to you. It comes on and comes
I
on.
know,
you click it.
but and they spend a lot of money for it. It's
Well,
like-
that's their fashion.
yeah, but I just
Well, they can say about why your fashion.
true, but I mean, come on, the grill and the teeth.
That's expressing themselves. It's
Oh,
their fashion.
John.
I don't know. I think they could maybe do something better with the teeth.
Well, I don't know.
Why not?
Well,
make
consider
your teeth
this.
bright
We
and
were
clean
when
and
we
shiny.
God created
Versus
men and women. He didn't create them with clothes
Put gold in your mouth
and accessories.
yes, as a piece of jewelry. Now you wear jewelry in your mouth. Why not pierce your
What do you mean? Why not? They
Okay.
did back in the day wear jewelry in their mouth. In ancient times,
Yeah, okay.
and then even in the Middle Ages,
Well, I know jewelry has.
and they had jewelry in there too, like a diamond or something like that.
Yeah, jewelry served as a different, a purpose.
Everybody had a different fashion.
Yeah, well, that's one fashion they can leave, just like them old droopy pants.
Oh, my
That
goodness.
I
That's
still
a fashion.
see. And no, that fashion has been long gone.
How's
Nobody's
it long-
getting up on stage with their drawers hanging out anymore.
No, they don't have to because they make the pants that way.
Are you serious?
Yeah, have you noticed?
No. No, I didn't know they made pants, actually. I thought they bought them a size
You ever notice
bigger.
those skinny jeans? They sort of thin, but the pants got a little kind of
droop to
because it's
them?
built into it.
Get
So
out
you
of
can wear
here.
it. You don't have to do it anymore.
I did not know
It's part of the
that.
fashion.
Oh, Lord, have mercy.
Really?
Well, next they're going to put pads in the back of the women's pants so
They're already doing
butt
that.
you don't have to wear, you can have
Right.
that.
So you have they're already doing that
They're
with certain
padding
pants.
everything and drooping
So you have the
everything.
perfect round bottom.
Perfect round bottom.
Well, here's
Fashion.
something. Here's something on a more serious note. Maybe we can talk a little bit more about this one here. Was after Philando Castile's death, investigators tried to secretly get access to Diamond Reynolds' Facebook and phone records. This is his honey bunny,
Right.
who watched this brutal crime take place of her boyfriend being shot and didn't have a gun or anything. They were sitting in the car. He had a license to carry,
Right.
but he never, reached for his gun or anything. He let the officer know that he had a gun,
Right.
and she filmed
The whole thing.
the whole incident. And what's also crazy is that the body cam or the
Filmed
car
the whole-
filmed the whole thing too to
Okay.
collaborate
What she had.
what
put
she
on.
saw. And
Yeah.
guess what?
What?
A jury of his peers still didn't convict the police officer.
Oh my goodness.
Can you believe this?
Well, it's the way they were ordered to look at the situation, and I think a lot of people blame the juries, but then one of the things they order them to do is, part of looking at when a police shoot somebody, has the officer shown that he felt that his life was threatened? And if you notice in both of them, he says, what did he say?
I didn't get it.
Don't reach or something like that. I feel threatened.
Right. That's what he said. He felt threatened.
He felt
Right.
threatened.
So if we go by that, then the jury really didn't have a choice because of the strict. They could have not gone by it, and then it would have been a mistrial.
So in other words, if the police stops you and he starts saying, "I feel threatened," regardless of what's going on, whether he's
That's
not in
if
a
that
threatened
particular
situation.
jurisdiction, if that judge narrows it down, and to that kind of what you're looking for.
Oh wow, that is really interesting.
Yeah, but
But words do not lie, actions do not lie. Her Facebook and his body cam shows exactly what happens. That he was showing him his license. It wasn't shadowy. There was nothing dark.
Right.
He was going for a piece of paper or his license, and he overreacted. So the question is, for police departments, they really have to do some in-depth psychological, I think, evaluation of individuals to see if they can handle the job.
Well, you know
Yes,
what?
I
I agree with you on that, John. But
Because obviously the guy couldn't handle the job. That's
and that's sad.
That
but,
is sad.
I mean,
But that should be. That's part of
Right,
training.
exactly.
He should have had that in training. You
Exactly.
he
know?
probably did,
Exactly,
but it's
exactly.
this. I mean, the guy with Tamara Pride,
Clear price, right?
Brecksville Independence, didn't even take him because they did a evaluation, and he did pass through their rookie, their police academy, but he didn't pass the psychological evaluation. Independence of all, and they said no, we can't have you on the streets.
Well, let me share this.
know?
Let me share this video. See if you guys can be able to hear it or not.
Okay. And then I want to give a great shout out to the Warrensville Police Department.
Absolutely.
Last weekend, they did something that I was really impressed with.
Awesome. See if we can hear it. Oh, see, that's cool.
Oh, they got it, so you can read it too.
Yeah. He had a license.
And Flanger didn't even have to tell him he had the license to carry.
Well, normally
But
They
you should.
know.
Normally they know, and that's why he said it.
And remember, he stopped him for a back headlight.
Right.
Don't point that out to me, but
Oh my goodness. Oh my
isn't
goodness.
that real?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So he was telling him he was going for the license, not a gun, and the officer just confused it.
So how can you confuse it? I mean, I'm telling you, plain English.
He didn't see a gun. He didn't even see
There
it.
wasn't a
Okay,
gun. Right.
I'm reaching. So
He's just telling you,
therefore-
I have a license to carry.
Right.
He shouldn't have been on the road.
Well, there might come the officer and say, "Well, please don't. Let us check. Versus you reaching.
Right.
Because
there's the option.
he was profiling. Remember, there was a robbery that happened,
Mm-hmm.
and a guy with dreads, and so he was already in his mind, already hypersensitive, already profiling, instead of doing his due diligence before he came up to the car.
That's awful. That
That's
is really awful. Well, I'm going to commend our Warrensville Police Department.
Okay.
Last weekend, I was coming home. It was Father's Day weekend. People were out doing their thing, and it was like probably about maybe 11:30, going on 12 o'clock. and I had picked up my niece. We had a full day running around, going to pool parties and all of that. So I'm thinking this baby is going to stay the night with Auntie. And, she said she would. And then at the tail end, she says, I miss Mommy. I want to go home. So I says, okay, cool. So I turned around and I went on and took her back over to the other side of town. Coming back, I have to come up Warrensville Center Road to where I live. And so now I get here just right past the casino. And they're doing a DUI check. And, I pulled up. I didn't have my driver's license because I had, left my purse. I'm switching purses. And they were very courteous about it. It was, just making sure that people were not drunk or drinking on the weekend. And it was just a simple stop to make sure that you were a licensed driver, that you wasn't drinking. And he was very nice about it. At first he was like, where you coming from? Where you going? Where you live? And I told him, well, I live right down the street here. And he was like, okay, you're fine. Go ahead on, have a good day. And I felt very protected. I really embrace that because I think they need to do more of that just to make sure, especially on the weekend, not necessarily
DUI stops. No.
Yeah, DUI stops because really someone could it could save that driver's life and it could save someone else's life on the road too. So I give them a shout out for that.
Okay, I can understand giving them a shout out for that. I understand that. But now let me tell you the corruption behind it all. Okay. Did you know that you, as a police officer, you're not a police officer, but police officers get commission on DUI stops?
That's why I think it's illegal.
Are you aware of that?
No, I'm not aware of that.
Yes. Officers can get big bucks for DUI stops. That's why they charge so much for a DUI.
Because you're paying the commission
in court.
Really? How much is it?
About $1,000, $1,500.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And there was an officer in the Avon area who would pay Ola, the bartender, the barmaid, at a certain Avon Lake watering hole.
Right.
Yes.
And say, anybody leaving out that's inebriated, I'll give you $500 for pointing them out, giving me a call.
Right.
So he would hide in the cut. They're coming out of the bar, where they just spent their money.
Right.
Just out of ground. I know.
And the bartender gives officers a call on his cell phone. Hey, they're a white couple driving a red Mercedes. They've had this to drink.
Right.
You may want to
pull them
over. Sure enough, he would pull them over. They may not have even done anything wrong.
Right.
But they knew that alcohol content was going to be high. Over the level.
Right.
And sure enough, they were over the level. They take them to court. They go to court. They got to pay the fine. When they pay the fine, the state would give that officer $1,500 commission for saving your life by pulling over a DUI.
And he would
give her $500 stipend. Piece of the money.
And he keeps the $1,000.
But they caught him.
I'm glad.
They caught him. But here again, are you there to protect or serve, or are you there to get a commission?
And they're there to collect a commission. That's why I don't like the DUI stops because...
Well, that was my first time ever experiencing a DUI stop.
I felt it's a way for them to catch a whole bunch get a commission. And if you notice where they have them, they're in places where they know people are...
Well, as I said, it was
past the casino.
Right past the casino. So I that's when I said, well, I didn't mind, even though I was
do your work.
drinking.
I just feel they need to do the work. If you need to do your investigation, if they do something that shows you that they're inebriated, then yeah.
Well, that was my first time experiencing it. I know they also will pull you over. They just have these stops they will set up to make sure that you have your license and your insurance card. They would do those things.
It's all commission.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. I think with police, we should be paying them. They should be getting paid. And it shouldn't be incentive or commission based, some of the things they do.
Right.
So they can actually effectively do their job. without thinking about their budget.
Right.
You know, and make it easier for them to do their job, not harder.
I wasn't aware of that.
But,
So now
you know,
we've learned something new.
Yes.
Yeah, we learned something new.
and
I
if,
never
and, you
knew
know,
that.
Trump, if one of the things he'd be looking for good things to do, that's one thing he should be tackling is the whole disparity, and you know, with police and African American or minority communities, and also the prison thing. That's something that so you don't have thrown in your face when you're talking to China or Russia, and they're like, or Cuba, for instance, and they're like, yeah, that's the pot calling the kettle black.
Right.
You know,
Right.
you're up here shouting about this in the UN, like Miss Haley is doing, and everybody's like, well, look what happened in your country. Fix what you got first,
Right, before
then
you
you can
start
say
talking about
something. Right. You know,
Yeah.
your president was just dancing with
Well,
the
here, you know,
most
going back to
autocratic
talking
country on the
about,
planet, Saudi Arabia,
Free
where they
medical.
chop
you know,
people's heads off. You know.
Over in Canada, they have free medical.
Yeah.
Isn't the tuition for school free as well?
Yes. On the 4 year.
Okay, so what's the problem? How come we can't have that?
We can.
But do you know how much high things? See, one thing.
So they offset the cost like with food and clothing. If you go
So
to
is
Canada,
the
you'll
cost
find
of
like a
living
pack of cigarettes
higher?
is $20.
So it's all built into their
All
cost
built
of
into
living.
the taxes.
Okay,
Right.
I see.
I mean, so
I
when you
see.
go to McDonald's here, you can get a Happy Meal for $2.
You go there,
it's
it's going to be $10.
I see,
Right.
I see.
Same thing, same Happy Meal, but it's taxed.
Okay.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
So if we're willing to do something, yeah, we can do that here.
Yeah, okay. Well, I was just always wondering. And I said, well, how does it affect the people that live there? So then if they're paying higher, is their wages higher to meet those accommodations?
Well, their wages are typically higher in the sense of cost of living, but you got to think about the Canadian dollars on the pound and on the euro. So it's like it's comparable to ours, but it's a little bit lower.
Okay.
So, yeah, the cost of living wages.
Interesting. Wow. And Hot Topic, speaking of another thing.
They're more on point with their cost of living. Companies have to give you a certain amount with the federal government, so to speak, says so on top of your raise or whatever, they have to give you a certain cost of living. But the company doesn't regulate that; the government does.
Oh, okay. I see. Mm-hmm. Wow. Interesting. I always wondered about that. You know.
But every country, if you think about England, has, you know, or Great Britain, most of all of Europe, mostly.
I saw the funniest thing talking about Great Britain this morning, where someone called the police on the Queen of England. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, because she was riding in their car with no seatbelt. And so they told him this was not a 911. Do not call 911 for this. I was like, okay. You know, because she was going through town, I guess, with one of their parades. And they said, wow, could you believe someone called the police on the Queen for not wearing her seatbelts today?
Yeah, usually I think it's her birthday.
Okay.
Which they celebrate. Her birthday's in April, but they celebrate it in June.
Oh, okay. Yeah, something really.
Because it's so rainy in April. So, and she usually did the whole carriage thing, but she didn't do it.
Somebody called the cops on Queen of England for not wearing a seatbelt.
For not wearing a seatbelt.
Oh, there she is. There's the evidence. I mean, that's a really nice top. I mean, I can see why the brooch and everything. I can see why she's not wearing a seatbelt.
She blinging.
She blinging. I mean, sometimes when you blinging like that, you don't have to wear a seatbelt.
I don't need a seatbelt. I got a chauffeur.
Well, you know, you go back to a fashion statement here. Someone could make her a nice, classy.
Yeah, she's not wearing no seatbelt.
Some diamonds and glitters and things.
She ain't wearing no seatbelt. She ain't wearing no seatbelt.
Oh, boy.
It's her, you know, she's the queen.
Well,
it'll be interesting to see how that all goes about, though. With them leaving the Union. They might not even leave the European Union.
Who's that? England?
Mm-hmm. So we'll see. With her losing the election as bad as she did.
Who's that?
are you talking about the Queen?
The Queen
No,
doesn't run
the
for
May, the
Oh,
Prime
the Prime
Minister.
Minister. Oh,
Oh,
yes,
okay.
yes. Okay, I'm about to say, what are you talking about the Prime Minister?
Because the Queen is in there until
Yeah,
she
her whole
She
family.
abdicates
It's
or
hierarchy.
dies.
It's
Yeah.
everybody
Right.
gets to be in the hierarchy of the royal government.
Right.
Donald Trump made a statement the other day, and this is what he said.
Oh, Donald
Very
Trump's
bad
statement about-
German cars. Talking about the imports. You know, how German and these Mercedes Benzes and all these imports.
BMW.
Yeah, they're very bad cars. American is the best car that you can spend your money on. I have to give it to him.
I don't know about that. But
What do you mean you don't know about that?
Well, they've always said
Okay,
that the foreign cars
right.
are better made than American cars.
no, I wouldn't say better made. I think our cars are just as good, or if not better. But to say that.
Well, he
very
said
bad
he
cars
wants to
are
stop.
good.
He wants to stop. The foreign cars
From
com-
coming here from being sold?
Basically, yeah. I mean, that's what he said.
That and so what's so stupid about it.
He says in a speech at the G7 summit, he said, "Look at the millions of cars the Germans
Yes.
sell in the U.S. Terrible. We will stop this."
But they're not the number one
Oh.
foreign car seller in America. And and if you're talking about millions, it's really over years. Americans do not buy new cars as a majority. Like for instance, you're going to find out this year new car sales are down 70%.
What? Okay, John. I got a computer right here. John.
Right, it's
So
either
make
it's
sure.
50 to 70. You look it up.
I
New
was-
car
yeah,
sales.
Larry.
New car sales are down. Like the year, like 2017, that new car sales in the United States are
Really?
down. Americans buy used cars on the majority.
Well, yeah, because
Then
once
that'd be
the
next
car
year's-
comes off the lot, it depreciates. So if you can wait a few more months, or depending
For the
on
last
the time
10
that
or
you're
something
getting
years,
it.
like 15 years, we buy like next year.
Right.
Okay, where did it go? I just had it a second ago.
Mm-hmm.
John, where did it go?
So, and then it makes economic sense. You can get it 2017 and 2018 is a brand new car. They'll have sales. If you notice the car dealerships, see?
April sales.
It doesn't mean a decline though, but that's how Americans buy now. That's how we buy now.
It's a big dollar amount difference. From
Yeah,
buying
and because
brand
now
new
it's good for the
one versus-
dealerships because you got all this glut of new cars that didn't really get sold in 2007 that you can fall and have sales like galore in 2018. Dealerships actually make money off of this situation, a lot of money.
I know me and my daughter. we
But
were
the
looking
big
for
three,
her car.
America, it hurts our car. So, and it's all across the board. So for him to say that, it's not really true because Americans really don't buy BMWs and Mercedes like that. They buy Toyotas and Kias. I don't know if
Okay,
you
right,
wanna-
sure.
You know, like
Yeah,
that.
Hondas, you know, they
And Hondas,
Hondas.
well, Toyota's the number one,
Yeah.
really car sales in America.
Right.
Even though they build a lot of them here. So, Kentucky,
So
Alabama.
they're supplying jobs.
Yeah.
You know, so what is the problem?
Right.
The BMW, the foreign dealers.
It really isn't because they don't
Mercedes-Benz
sell
and,
as much here.
yeah.
And they already have a tariff on a BMW and Mercedes. That's why they're so high. And a Volkswagen.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they are higher priced.
Yeah, their tariff on them is higher than it is for Toyota, Honda,
Okay.
and Nissan, and Kia and Hyundai.
So how do you like your new car?
You have a Kia. Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love my Kia.
How do you
so.
like your car?
I like it.
Good American made.
I like it. It got some power to
Got
it.
some thrust.
You like your Cadillac?
I like it because I can get on that highway
And you stayed American.
and punch it. And,
Well, Chinese buy American.
You know, on my way coming here to the studio today, I had an older gentleman pull up on the side of me up the road here, and he had me to wave me to roll my window down. I rolled the window down. He says, "Hey, I'm not driving that Cadillac today." And he says, "How is that car? My son was telling me that's a good car." I says, "I love my Ford Taurus. You know, it is a good car. It's an '09, but it's a very good, sturdy car. And actually, it's really, to me, good on gas. I haven't had to put a lot of money in it at all.
Mhm.
And in fact, speaking of buying, I bought it from a rent-a-car, Enterprise Rent-a-Car.
Mhm.
You know, a year later, I purchased it and
That's
saved a
insane.
lot of
A lot of
money.
money.
Right.
And it
That's
had really no miles on it. I got the car, I think it had like maybe 22,000 miles on it, you know, and saved a bundle of money versus buying
100, say
it.
2,200 miles or 22,000?
22,000 miles on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it had 20.
So,
it
I
was
don't
a
know.
rental car, but you know,
I don't
still,
know what he,
that's
you know,
good.
I think that was really, it just shows that he has no idea that there's tariffs already on those products. And that it, well, he just told Merkel that he don't know what he's talking about. But, and it's the same thing when he was talking about China and do those tariffs. And see, Chinese buy new cars. They buy American new cars. They're the largest buyers of American.
What is this little car I saw yesterday?
Ford
on
is the
road?
number one car in China.
It looks like a little box. I would be scared to drive it. It is really a death trap. It looks like a toy car. And it's a two-seater. It's only
What?
two
Oh, those
people.
little
What
buggy
is
buggy
that?
cars?
What is that? What is the name of that vehicle?
That's through what?
Who makes that?
I think Chrysler does. Through their you know, their minis.
Yeah, it's past
Yeah.
the Mini.
Yeah, it's a smaller. It's like, remember back in the day. Well, you guys were probably alive more than I was.
Uh-huh.
But the little bit. It's a copy of that. So it's a Mini Coupe.
Yeah.
When they first came out, minis.
It
those
is
things.
minier than the Mini Coupe. And
Right.
saw
Well, I
this
mean, when they
lady
first came
driving
back
it.
in the day, they were like that. They were that small, so people can park and get in and get out. And remember, there was a gas situations right after the war
Yeah, but
and
we
things
don't
like
have
that.
that issue today, and it was just
Well,
like,
it's
you know,
electric. It saves money, saves gas.
Yeah,
That-
you know, but it's only but
For an older couple, that doesn't really go nowhere.
Too, you know,
Huh?
you need to be thinking about saving your life because all she has to do is bump something, run into something, and it's over. I mean, because
Oh, they're
there's
pretty
nothing.
sturdy. It's got a cage in it and everything. It's not as crunchy as you think.
If someone hit her, she has.
It has
nothing.
like a race car. You know, the cages. You see how they be able to bounce around and
Oh,
boom, boom,
okay,
boom.
so that saves them. Oh, okay.
It's
So
kinda-
if it's because I'm like I was no
They're-
way I
they're
would be.
kinda-
You catch me driving something that little tiny.
They come in gas, what you call it. Then you got the mini, the Coopers that can be big. They look so small, but really they're big inside. Saw some big tall guy come out of one, and I
My
was
cousin
like,
has a Mini Cooper.
yeah, I
and
was
he's a
like,
really
how in the
tall guy.
world did you get
Come
in
out of that
there?
thing.
And he loves it.
But they're so deep inside.
Yeah, he loves it. He drives it because he comes from. A lot of times he drives up here from Maryland.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and they're
and he-
gas savers, and
and
they
he-
have
yeah.
I'm just amazed about the engine, how they can put out so much power.
Yeah, he likes a little Mini Cooper.
And it's a little European fashion, cosmopolitan look.
So let's talk about what's going on.
I wouldn't drive
with,
one, though.
I do have one more I really
Oh,
want
go
to
It's
ahead,
too
sure,
small.
come on.
It's too small for
Bring
me.
it on, Larry. Bring it
thank
on.
you. Because this one really is disturbing to me. And where is it at? I'm trying to find it. I just had it a second ago. Just give me one more second.
Okay.
But it had to do with Dennis Rodman.
Oh,
Oh, where has he been? And
Oh, well, he's been in North
Korea.
Korea freeing Otto, who just died, bless his soul. And well, I had the whole article here. Let's see if I can bring it back up. But Dennis Rodman went to North Korea, and
he's the leader's favorite basketball player.
yes, and he said he had something to do with the freeing.
He probably did.
Okay, and I guess the whole thing is, you know, Dennis Rodman takes credit for it, but then unfortunately the gentleman dies.
Right.
You know, matter of fact, here it is. Is it
And Dennis
Wombrier?
Yeah,
Womber?
Rombrier.
Yeah,
Wombrier.
Rombrier. This guy had been in their prison for a while, and unfortunately, I can't pull that up. I wanted to pull that up.
You know what? And he probably does.
Here it is.
is that
Yeah,
the
I've heard
student
about it.
that went over and
Yeah.
died?
Yes.
And they brought him back. They just had the
Yes,
funeral
just had the
here.
funeral.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I want to hear what
And-
Dennis has to say about
Okay.
it. Let's see if we can play that because it should be pretty interesting. Let's see.
That was really
Yeah,
sad.
it was. If we guys can hear me.
Dennis Rodman breaks down after getting slammed for his recent trip to North Korea.
Do you think these trips you've taken have been worth all the criticism?
I think it's worth it.
Appearing on GMA, Rodman and his agent took credit for the release of American college student Otto Warmbier.
I asked on behalf of Dennis for his release. There's no doubt in my mind that these trips and me asking on his behalf had a lot to do with it.
But they say they didn't realize that Otto was essentially brain dead when he arrived back home in Ohio. Otto died 6 days later. Now, Rodman is feeling major blowback.
I was just so happy to see the kid released. Later that day, that's when we found out he was ill. No one knew that.
So far, you know.
That's sad. Wow.
Yeah, that's real sad. But why can't you? I don't wonder why they're trying to blame Dennis Rodman. Why is he getting it?
Well, when first the administration took credit for it, and then he dies because it doesn't look well.
Yeah.
So that's why they're trying to blame him, but they shouldn't be blaming him. He probably went over there on the behalf of both us
Right.
to
So
see
how come
because of his
anyone
friendship
didn't go
with
before?
Kim Il
Oh,
Jong, because Obama refused to let him go back over there. You remember, sometime we go from his last visit there,
Okay.
the Obama administration requested that he do not have any more visits to North Korea or communication. It was a way of taking that one thing that Kim Il Jong prized, or friendship that he prized, away, a pressure tactic.
And they return a life lost.
Well, he did return him as Rahman requested, but he didn't say he was going to return him alive. That's a different, you didn't have no preconditions on there. Like, can you return him walking on his own and speaking? Wasn't
It's a
specific.
beautiful thing to go and travel and see the world, but I always a little leery about. Always have that second thought.
Why? You shouldn't.
Something happening, and you get over there, and there's a system, and you can't get
Culture,
back.
so you need to know what those systems you're going to culture and what
Their rules and regulations and laws
systems.
and
Right.
different
When I was
things
on
like that.
right, because I was in like Greece, for instance, when I was on a Mediterranean tour, there were certain rules and regulations for Marines and sailors when we docked in Greece. They tell you can go here, you can go there, you can do, certain
Right.
things, because they would, you get confrontations or you end up in jail.
Right.
But getting to know the people and the culture, I was able to go anywhere I wanted to.
Or maybe they
And
need
I
to
always I
offer
never had that
classes,
problem.
Offer some type of class.
Well, you're not over there trying to steal stuff from them
Right,
either.
you're not
Right.
trying to steal stuff, and
Right.
unfortunately,
And
the young
that's what that
man,
young man did.
made
I mean,
a mistake.
yeah.
He tried to take something from the hotel, and he shouldn't have done that, knowing how these people are.
It wasn't from the hotel.
What was it?
Or from the
It was a poster, a propaganda poster,
and he wanted to take it,
and he wanted to take that propaganda.
so he tried to take it down.
You don't take down a picture of Gun Shin or whatever, and,
Right,
and,
Kim Il
and
Jong.
yeah, and think you're going to walk. I mean, that's you just don't do that. And
He was flouting their rules and their laws.
right?
Oh wow.
Because he thought he had white privilege. Really?
Right.
That don't
Wow.
work over in other countries. You may have it here, but not over there.
No, it does not work.
You gotta play by their rules. Don't touch stuff. Don't take no.
Don't take what don't belong
Belong
to
to
you.
Or you get lobotomized.
And that's exactly what they did to him.
And they're serious
Even
about
though they're not saying
those
that,
rules
but
and
I do
regulations
believe
over there.
the way it looks
I mean,
like
the way he looked.
he got lobotomized.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
And they probably thinking he was a spy, find out he's a missionary, and
Right.
eventually. But he should not have done that. When you're in that situation, and being an American in that kind of country, that technically is still at war with us. So in a sense, they really didn't break any international laws. Unfortunately, because we're still at war. We just,
Right. We're just not.
we're in a
We're in a
stalemate.
cold. What they call a cold war.
Well, yeah, we're in a storm
And they
right now.
handled him like they would handle any other citizen, no different.
Well, yeah, well, any other war crime.
Yeah.
criminal.
Right.
And that's
War
exactly, and I'm surprised, that we can even get over there as Americans.
Yeah.
Why would you go into a place where a country looks at us hostile, look at us as
Well,
being at war with?
a lot of North Koreans are Christians, so they do allow missionaries to come in there to help the churches and things like that. And that's one of a lot of North Koreans are Christians, unbelievably.
That
so.
would just be one mission I
But,
wouldn't be on.
They allow them to come up and do church stuff and da-da-da, but specifically
Right.
church stuff. Anything outside of that could get you
And not taking what
in a
doesn't belong to
situation,
you.
right? Get you in a situation
Right.
where you land in prison.
Wow. Interesting.
So it's like really, really P's and Q's. Like Pakistan, a lot of missionaries, people don't talk about it, but a lot of missionaries are in jail in Pakistan because it's against the law to say the name of Jesus in Pakistan. It's literally against the law there.
That's right. I have a friend, Pastor Khalid, that comes over every now and then. He just called me the other day, and they have these open tent meetings. Well, they're not allowed to call them anything but festivals.
Festivals. No, don't
This
put the
is a
word
festival.
revival in there.
No
Really?
religious words.
Now, where is this at?
It's in Pakistan.
None.
And he is so popular in Pakistan that he has to have several bodyguards.
Yeah.
Wow.
That are state sponsored though.
Okay.
Because he will get attacked by the
right.
mullahs and
Right.
different factions.
Wow.
That's right. So he has to be very, very
with
careful.
his wording and imagine that you got to be careful 24/7 the words you use to bring someone to Christ without even mentioning Christ, so to speak.
Are you? Wow.
That's kind of powerful. If he's able to do that, that's the word being the living word and doing his job.
Wow.
Right. Yeah. He's matter of fact. This is him here. Good News Festival.
Okay.
Is what he has to call it, and he comes here every so often and stays with us and everything, and now he puts this on Facebook. Praise the God, we had a wonderful youth revival meeting on the day of Pentecost. But they're not allowed to advertise it as anything but see this festive of Pentecost.
Okay.
A prayer meeting. They're allowed to do that, and he's very popular there. And they've even given him the okay, and he built a school there. Okay, for ministry and for orphans.
So let me ask you then. So in his school, are they using the Bible and?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
absolutely.
it's okay that the Bible has
yeah.
God written in it.
Did they use the Bible
Right.
written in their language? It's just, and see how many people come to his festival.
Yes, I see.
I mean, it's pretty large.
But it says
there's
that
a young man with a
for
Bible
God
right
in
there.
that
Okay.
in the Pakistan, it's a different word.
Right.
Because again, even with being Muslim, you're not supposed to say God's name.
Right, because it's
So-
so sacred that it shouldn't be
So it
spoken.
says something. Well, like the Jews, it will say.
Yeah,
like
that's
a
where I
sheen.
learned it from. The
Because the Jews are the
do
same
not call
way.
them-
They're not.
right.
Yeah, they'll say a sheen beloved, and so they use those kind of connotations.
Right. It's okay.
So they're not. So he's not breaking the law.
Right.
Exactly. He told me the story of a friend of his that was kidnapped, and they put a black cloth over his head, and they took him. He felt like into a garage underground place, and the top man, the top
mullah,
Muslim, the mullah, took them. They took the cover off the man's head, and they asked him a question. Tell me about this Jesus, because they wanted to know the truth about God. They wanted to know about Jesus Christ. They've heard a lot, said, but they wanted to know for themselves. And this gentleman preached the gospel of Jesus Christ to this top Muslim person or whatever.
Okay.
And he received Christ, and they let him go.
Wow.
He received Christ and let him go. And so it's it's quite different than here in America, because people are hungry for, the things of God there. It's just that here, we take everything. We've taken so much for granted.
Oh yeah.
We've taken so much
And we
for
just don't
granted.
really realize how fortunate and blessed that we are, the freedom that we have, and a lot of just the lifestyles of way we live and the things that we do, and no restrictions.
There is restrictions.
I mean, we have restrictions, but it's nothing like in
Right.
other countries.
Oh, exactly.
The comparison is so.
It's not so out in the open.
Right,
It's more subtle.
we have
than
a
anything
more
else.
of a freedom of speech and
To an extent.
yeah, to an extent. But then here in other countries, their president, whoever is in charge, their leader is he is really their ruler, and the people have no other choice but to do things until he gets out, and he may have that position for ever. It's not like a 4-year term that we
Right.
have here. I mean, this man could be there in that position until the day he died. So therefore, the people there have to go accordingly until that's tough. So that's what I mean by how fortunate we are here to have freedom of choice and things like that.
To an extent.
To an extent.
I mean, you say freedom of choice, but remember, you got a lady who left at Sessions who's going to court now.
She left the sessions. We talking about, man.
I want to hear that story.
When in the beginning of the administration, he was giving a speech, and this lady reporter laughed at him. She got arrested, and she's going to court for interrupting him.
And where was this at?
Washington, D.C. That's why I said to an extent.
To an extent.
After that session hearing,
Yeah.
convicted for being disorderly. Oh my God! Look at the blood on her hands. I arrested too.
It's just
That's
sick.
Condoleezza Rice.
I know,
That's
but
a
look at
dumb-
the
The
debate
lady,
here,
she's
though.
got blood in her hands are bloody from what?
Yeah. All up in Condoleezza, my girl's face. What's her problem?
But look how Condoleezza handled it. Move on. And sort of Sessions. Why
Left
bring against her? What? Someone can't laugh while you're talking?
No. This lady, a jury in Washington has convicted a woman who was arrested after laughing during a confrontation hearing for the Attorney General, a confirmation hearing for Attorney General.
During his confirmation.
So she was out of order. She was disrespecting the process. She was disrupting the congressional proceedings.
She was
as
not.
Well as
Okay, so
It was
participating
not.
on tickets.
So there was just cause for
No,
her.
that's not just cause. Just cause did you took the painting off the window and we're going to lobotomize you. It's the same. If we're going to say freedom of speech, Abraham Lincoln gave a speech against the American-Mexican War.
Okay.
When he
here they
gave
are.
that speech,
This is disruptive.
Okay, let's
No,
see
this
that.
You have
is
to have
disruptive
police
because she laughed
carry you
and
out.
he asked her to be removed. And
Look
she
at
said,
it. Come on. Look at
right.
it. Come
It
on.
only became disruptive when the police came. It became disruptive to me when he said, get her out of here. She laughed only once.
John,
They could have ignored
she
that and
dressed
kept on
in
going.
pink,
So
sitting in
what?
the middle of the aisle.
So
Joe,
what? That is all right.
She
John.
came
That's
in to
right.
draw
This
attention to
country,
herself.
no. So what if she did? So what if she did?
That's not what that was.
So yes, it is. Abraham Lincoln, when he gave that speech against the American-Mexican War, eggs were thrown at him, horse dung was thrown at him, cabbages, rotten eggs. I can go to George Washington when he gave his speech when he became president. People who lost threw stuff at him. He stood there and gave his speech.
I'm trying
He
to find
stood
something
there.
right now to
That
throw at you
is-
right now.
That is what have been American. The people, yes, if you're going to be a servant, sometimes people are going to like you and they're going to laugh. You don't have them arrested.
Throw the towel.
You don't have them arrested. You don't go through that. Because what this shows to the rest of the world when we talk about freedom of speech, they point to things like that. Really? What's so different? We just chop their heads off. You take them to court.
Oh my goodness.
Saudi Arabia. Again, it's another place where you can't say Christ. And they're our allies.
I don't know. I just thought it was inappropriate.
Thank you.
So you would think it's inappropriate if a woman in Saudi Arabia want to drive her car in and getting her head chopped off.
No, John.
Some things can be to the extreme.
That is the extreme.
Okay.
If we're going to show example to the world, if we're going to be that shining city on the hill, then we need to do that. We need to.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes, we do. If
No,
we're going to
no,
say it,
no,
if we're going to
no.
say it, if we're going to say it, then we need to show it.
John, let me explain something. Okay.
I can
Explain what? I fought for this country. I know what it works.
Well,
and what
I
it is.
fight for the kingdom of God.
And I do as well.
Wait,
so if we're going to be,
You're not going to throw
every
eggs at
day-
Jesus.
they did worse than that to Jesus while he was here.
They're not going to do it when he comes back.
That's when he
If
comes
they
back.
do when they come
but when
back,
he was
we're
here,
gonna knock
they
him
spit
down.
him. They spit on him.
He did
They
that
whipped him.
so
They
that-
right. He did that for what?
us. For us.
For us. If we're
Right.
going to be that example of Christ, then we need to be that example. And part of being that example is surrender. It's part of showing turning the other cheek 70 times 7. It's saying, hey,
So
you can wear your
therefore,
pink
he
thing.
coulda
You could have
turned his cheek
cheek.
as she was making her laughs.
one
Okay.
laugh
One
and
laugh.
gone on and ignored it like it wasn't in there.
She got what she got. Coming.
Okay, well,
You made it disorderly when you say, take this woman out of here. Then the police come. Then she gets louder. Then he cut. But if you ignored it and kept on going, it would have never been.
Now, did you know that there were 2 men also in the same session who were dressed up in
Yeah.
KKK outfits
Yeah.
and pretended to be session supporters
Yeah.
at the hearing? Were
Yeah.
also convicted of charges related to the hearing.
They did that later
Excellent.
because somebody pointed it out, the New York Times, and that's when those charges came.
Well, I'm glad they did it. I'm glad they put them in jail.
But they didn't do it before.
so therefore, they needed to get stopped. They were allowed to enter
Right.
dressed as that.
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, so
So
therefore,
that's-
they need to put some type of, if that's going to be.
No, they don't.
They
That's
don't.
because you're an American. You have
You
that right.
have the right to come as you are. Okay, but then you know what? Not always, because sometimes, regardless of where the meeting is, they can say we have a dress code. Okay, and you can't come in here looking like whatever you
You
want.
shot John?
Yes. Okay. we set attires. It's just like at work. You know, we're changing our attire because the women there want to wear leggings that are not appropriate for a workplace.
Okay.
Okay, so you have to draw some type.
Like anybody notice.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean,
Ain't
some
nobody
things
in.
are noticeable. Some women wear these leggings 24/7, and I mean, you know, they're made to be comfortable in.
Mm-hmm.
They're made to be a fashion statement, but then also you have to look at where you are when you're wearing these, when you're wearing your clothes. You know,
Women
so,
walking around in yoga pants
I mean,
at the work site.
that's not
I don't think
appropriate.
that's
I never noticed, for one.
Well, I see
I
it all the
didn't.
time.
I really
It's
didn't
not
notice. Half the
appropriate.
time I come to work, she knows I'm having like,
Yeah, we know.
So I'm just in there to get what I need to get done and get the
Heck out of
But, you know, so
I'm
Good
not
for you,
paying
John. Good for you.
attention. So for the job at hand, and I think everybody should. If you go to work,
Yeah.
you know, that's what you're supposed to be paying attention.
Should be some.
there should be guidelines. We always have guidelines.
But I guess you're right. Because they had some big thing about that. I remember I fell asleep through that meeting, by the way.
I didn't go.
Oh. You didn't go and I fell asleep.
I didn't go because I mean, you know, really, realistically, I'm a grown woman. I know how to dress
Right.
and what's appropriate and what's not appropriate.
But we have a lot of young people,
And we do.
we have a lot of young people. So I think that was good for something them to know what is dress casual appropriate for
right
business.
versus
Just
the-
coming in with your gym clothes,
right,
or
or
whatever.
your pajama pants, and making that, because that's another thing that has to go. People getting out of their bed with
Yeah.
pajama pants in the
Going
grocery
to
stores
stores.
and everywhere. I mean, that's just, to me, it's just nasty. You know, it's
Right.
made.
And then the guys with their pants down their butt.
Yeah.
All that just
All of that.
is a sign of stupidity.
Yeah.
That's all it is. You are just stupid.
But it's their fashion.
It's not even called fashion. It's
No.
called stupidity.
It's called I don't
Because
care
grandma-
about me.
Because
But
grandma would have
clothes
told
are
them.
God didn't give us that. This is
Grandma would have told them, look, you got your butt hanging out like that. When you get my age, you're gonna have pains and aches in your behind. So pull your pants up and keep it warm for as long
Well,
as
what
you
happened
can.
to Adam when he didn't have any?
See, this is why, John,
were not born
I
with
threw a
clubs.
towel at you.
Hey, Larry, I'm gonna throw it back to you.
So I can throw it back at him
Throw it back at him again.
John, you know what?
I'm just saying. They didn't have that.
How did you bring Adam and Eve?
Hey, you gotta love him.
Well, you know what, guys? It's about that time. It is about that time.
It sure is.
We have to tell everyone how much we love them. So why don't you go ahead and do that, and I'll go ahead and let you guys.